Hi guys, welcome to another episode of SCN. On today's show we are joined by the multi-talented Miss Melanie Walker, and to end off with, as always, we've got some footage highlighting Mel's career. Melanie, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
No, thanks for having me here.
Miss Hillbrow, cars, bikes, helicopters, there isn't anything this lady hasn't done. Mel, tell us all about that. We remember you very well from Treasure Hunt. That episode, or that series, I should say, must have put you off flying for life. Are you still a fan of flying now?
Are you mad? Every time a helicopter flies over, I'm like, come and get me, come fetch. No, it was honestly one of the best things that could ever have happened. I've had some amazing jobs since then, but I don't think anything actually vaguely touches on how good that was. I would have done it for free. I would have done it even if it wasn't on television. It was that good.
I've got to tell you, I don't think safety and the Safety Standards Board would let you do a show like that.
No, they would never have. I mean, we had no door on the helicopter. I didn't wear a safety belt. I was hanging from the skids over 1,000-foot drops just with these little hands holding on, no chains, no nothing. It was amazing, but it was always a case of like, I put myself in the right place at the right time for some reason. I mean, I couldn't even get an agent in those days, but I knew the cameraman, and he said, they're having an audition, go. So off I went.
And you jumped on board and did your thing.
Yeah, some pretty low flying there.
We remember you everybody's favourite girl in a blue jumpsuit. Was it a blue jumpsuit or red jumpsuit?
The first three series was blue and yellow, of course, not my favourite colour. And then the last series was in red, which I was quite happy with.
Hell, so that was a start to your career. And from there you got into motor racing. Tell us a little bit about that, your days of thunder with VW.
Yeah, well, it was a case of, I looked at all of these guys and thought, well, if I can go out and jump out of helicopters and do all the stuff that my predecessor had done as a guy, there's no reason why girls shouldn't be making inroads into what is exclusively, or then, a male preserve. Very much so. Put it out there. I want to go and race. I want to go fast. I mean, I'm used to low flying. Come on, let's just do it more in a car. Had some friends in the motoring industry who said, right, we'll train you up, which was great. Went and did all the courses, did hill climbs, got my license, and went to start racing. And then, of course, some people are a little bit more savvy when it comes to sponsoring things. They think, hang on a girl, there's a girl. Let's put her into a car. She's going to get all of the publicity. And trust me, the guys hated it. They tried to stop me racing because she's not good enough. But you know what? I never came worse than third in anything I ever did. In any of my races.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. You were a partner nicely there. You had a good partner, driving partner.
Jeff Dalgleish, absolutely fantastic man to drive with, and taught me so much. We were also working together with me, writing with him as well. Okay. So I got involved in a bit of journalism there as well. I mean, I've been writing for various magazines the whole time. But Volkswagen came along and said, here's a GTI. Autoquip got on board, and Firestone.
I remember that.
I had these wonderful guys that I used to go out and play with, and I mean, I used to have so much fun. Honestly, we had an absolute blast. Did well, made the cover of the Cape Argus 3 days in a row on my first 6 hour down in Killarney. Beautiful. Then they came along and said, right, we've got this Formula Ford, and we want you to race it. And I went out in it a few times. I'd been out with Basil Mann quite a lot in a GTI. And quite frankly, I don't like direct driving, okay? I'm much happier in a saloon car. So I stayed with the Group N thing for quite a while. Got put off when I saw Serge Damso go straight through a wall and nearly get taken out on a road. And my lap times went down radically, and I thought, okay, maybe the time has come to calm down. Slightly.
Well, I see you say slightly, and slightly meant going from 4 wheels to 2 wheels. You ended up then presenting Twist Grip and the bike show as well. What was the bike show called, the other one?
The other one was Bike SA TV. With the wonderful Simon Furey, yes.
You went from 4 wheels to 2 wheels. I mean, this was you trying to downgrade and slow down your lifestyle a little bit. Well, how did you end up going from 4 to 2 and not 2 to 4 like most people do?
I've always had bikes and cars in my life. 9 years old, weekends at my parents' friends' houses, they had like this range of amazing British sports cars, the E-Types, Sunbeams, Triumph Mark III. I used to polish these things so that they would take me for a ride on the Bonneville. And I'm still in love with the Bonneville. They had BSAs and Triumphs and what else did they have? Norton Commanders, those kind of things. So I grew up with cars and bikes, and 10 years old, wanted a purple Ford Capri because my dad had a Capri and I wanted a big engine in it, okay? I didn't know what a V8, V12, didn't matter. I wanted a big engine. So this need for speed has always been around in my life.
And we talk about that, on this show we always talk about what cars you would like to be buying. We offer a lot of buying advice. And in your mind, what is the ultimate car? And there's not going to be one, I can only guess. No. You've got a couple of cars you definitely need in your collection. Give us a clue. What are you looking for?
Well, let's put it this way. I'm going to have to go and get all the next door neighbours' houses and knock them down and build garages. Because to have all the cars and bikes that I want and need.
Yes.
We'll use the word need because this is a need. We all know this about cars. I need a Mustang. I've said by the time I hit 60, I'm going to embarrass my children no end. I'm going to get a Mustang and tool around town in that.
She really is a girl, I promise you. This really is a girl, guys.
I can actually strip an engine, not the new ones, an old one. I can strip engines and put them back together again. I need a late 70s Corvette Stingray.
Nice car. That girl.
Yeah, I have a thing, although I love Italian cars and I love Italian styling, and I mean, obviously, who wouldn't want like a Ferrari Daytona, or what was it that Annalene Creel had?
Annalene Creel, little 308, knowing Annalene Creel's taste in cars, something Magnum-like, I'm
I used to
guessing.
play with a 348, but it belonged to somebody I was seeing at the time, and the 348, I used to say to him, come on, this is a girl's car. I guess he'd let me drive it. 308, absolutely the best way to go. But when it comes to cars that actually I think hold their value quite well as well and are wonderful on the road, it's got to go BMWs. There are 4 BMWs I need to have. Is the 3-litre, the old 3.0.
3, the CI, the little coupe.
Yes, that
nice
one.
car, good choice, yes.
635.
Yes, classic car,
Okay.
65 CSI.
I have an 1800 Neue class, which is a 1969 version, the 1800 version of a 2002.
Nice.
I had a
Lovely
2002 Ti, which was stolen, so I was looking for
Stolen,
another.
a 2002 getting stolen. That
somebody
must have been
nicked
some
it.
years ago. How long ago was that?
Oh, let's not go there. We're giving my age away. And then, of course, I want a 2002 Tii. So those are the 4 BMWs I need to have.
So very much a BMW girl. Much as you've talked about Ferrari and all of that, but you're still a German girl at heart.
When it comes to cars that I really love the styling of, BMWs. I mean, I've had a BMW, a 323, which we race prepared because I was seeing somebody who was racing BMWs in Group N. And that was, I love the cars. They're fantastic. But when it comes to sports cars, there's going to be big trouble with that. And then when it comes to bikes, I mean, we can go on as well. Both 2 BMWs in that little stable too would have to have the R1200C, which I had.
She wasn't kidding when she said knock down the neighbours' houses.
I had an R1200C, which I sold. I should never have sold it. I also had a Funduro, the BM Funduro,
Yes.
the 650. Sold that, should never have sold it. I need to have a Bonneville. Okay, definitely. There's a couple of other bikes that I'd like as well. There was
I
the
remember you
Aprilia
telling me you had a little
Pegaso.
Ducati on your mind. There's a Ducati coming your way fairly
The
soon. Also
600
getting
Monster
excited about
Dark.
that.
Absolutely. The Monster, I think Monsters are without a shadow of a doubt, and that's where the Italian thing comes in. At first, I wasn't so convinced about Ducati.
Now you're loving it.
Forget it. Love them.
So here's a German girl who's now decided she prefers Italian 2 wheels and German 4 wheels. Nice choices in cars, though, I've got to tell you. But you've gone from all of that. You've gone from helicopters, you've gone from bikes, you've gone from cars, you've gone from Miss Hillbrow, and now you're the queen of
Miss
weed.
Hillbrow. Miss Hillbrow, yeah. Don't use Hillbrow and weed in the same sentence, Nick. The queen of speed, the queen of weed. Yeah, I had to slow down. I had a couple of twins. And
a couple of twins. Okay.
a pair of twins, a pair of twinners, my dad would have said. And you kind of reevaluate your priorities. So I had to slow down a bit. And then I was sitting there and thinking, I've grown 2 little people. Maybe growing plants would be a good thing. And
being an ex-Miss Hillbrow comes naturally to growing plants,
stuff.
particularly indoors.
No, come on, I'm like one of the biggest anti-drug advocates in the entire world. So, that's a given. But it was a case of maybe it's a thing when you get to a certain age, maybe it's just a woman thing, that you feel this need to actually create a better environment.
Okay.
So as I'm used to doing, if I want something, I say, right, I'm going to go and do it. I thought I'll just do a course. The next thing I know, gardening editor for Garden and Home, got a TV show on and teaching people and you name it. I'm like become the gardening guru.
Love it. And that's Gardening 101. That's on the Home Channel.
Yes, well, it's off air at the moment. It'll be back again. We're shooting a new series around about September, October. So I'll be back on air with that. It's done so incredibly well. I mean, we had another series before, but people would come to me and say, we don't know how to actually plant anything. It's great telling us about design. And I am about design. When it comes to cars, when it comes to interiors, or gardening, I'm about the design. So I thought, well, okay, let's take it back a step and teach people how to do these things. Number 1 local show.
Yeah.
And the only local show on the bouquet in the top 10.
Wow.
So the show has done really well and actually broken all expectations. And I think I was just so lucky having worked as a gardening writer. And it's something I've done my whole life. I've always written. I used to write for Jeff Dalgleish. We'd go and test drive cars. I used to do the same with bikes. And now I can always get out there and educate people. And that's what I think has been a good thing for me. And when it comes to educating people about cars too.
Well, we weren't kidding when we said multi-talented. You've got no idea just how talented this young lady is. Now, having said that, we were talking a little bit earlier about the bicycle thing. Now, you run the big biking expo that's coming up at the end of this year. Tell us a little bit about that as well.
It's been an interesting thing. We're bringing more cars. We're trying to get more cars to come in to the expo. I mean, it is a cycling expo. It is big. It's for the second biggest timed cycle race in the world. So we have a lot of entries. So we have the expo, which runs on the back of it. And I've been doing that for about 17 years. But now there's this thing that because cycling is very trendy, like yoga, which I don't do, by the way.
Pilates, yes, yoga.
Pilates, I'm an instructor, yeah, but not yoga. When it comes to cycling, people need to have the cars that will be the right car to be able to get their bicycles around. Because of course,
in terms of look and feel or in terms of practicality?
Both.
Okay.
Now, you think about some of those bikes are actually worth the price of a car. So you need to look after your bike as well. So I see manufacturers are now getting on board, branding up cars, fitting up cars, getting together with somebody like Thule, making sure all of their bits and pieces will look good and have this really dynamic flow. So we're getting car people in more and more, which I think is a great idea.
That's a note to you, Mr. Brett Hudson at Audi Johannesburg. Don't be shy. Get yourself hooked up with Melanie here for the bike show. You're going to do well out of it, I guarantee you.
It's all about the wheels. Hey? It doesn't matter if they're 4 or 2. As long as you're on wheels, you're doing well.
Well, listen, that's just spectacular. Knowing what Melanie's got coming up this year is really exciting. And also, there's a bit of a hint that she's getting back into the journalistic game, highlighting some bikes, highlighting some cars coming up. Stick close. We will keep you in the loop as to what she's going to be getting up to. So she talks the talk, but can she walk the walk? Melanie, what can we expect?
Nick, really? You're talking to a walker? Of course I can. What am I doing? Well, ladies, I have 4 minutes to find Le Coconut. Where do I find Le Coconut?
We're going to ask the captain about that. Go inside the cockpit, round here, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Here.
I need to find Le Coconut.
Well, you'll have to go with us to Mauritius for that.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Let's go.
I always love those jumpsuits.
I prefer the racing suits, quite frankly. But you know what? You can't keep a good or a bad blonde down.
Well, on that subject, what about a nice blonde tip of the week?
A blonde tip? We're talking about a bright blonde here. Okay, let me come up with one that's really simple. Don't look left, right, and left again. This is Africa. It's not America. Therefore, we should look that way first. That's right, by the way. Right, then left, then right again. It's that easy. Well, there we go. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to smash the like button, and you can check me out on these links below. And just because it's maybe not Follow Friday doesn't mean you shouldn't be following and liking Surf4Cars on Facebook and on Twitter. And don't forget, of course, subscribe, people.
She's been Mel.
It's been real.
We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Surf4Cars.